Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We are group 7, and for this group, we will be presenting about meningococcal disease. Here are the contents of the presentation, and these are our team members. Before we delve into the topic of meningococcal disease, it is important to understand that our brain and spinal cord are covered by 3 protective layers of membrane, which are the dura mater, which is the outermost layer closest to the skull, the arachnoid mater, which is the middle layer, and the pia mater. If these protective layers are inflamed, it is known as meningitis. The inflammation of these layers, also called meninges, could be caused by bacteria, viruses, and fungi. Bacterial meningitis is the most common and dangerous type of meningitis. And one type of bacterial meningitis is called meningococcal meningitis. This is a bacterial infection that results from an infection by the bacteria Neisseria meningitidis, which is also called meningococcus. This bacteria often resides naturally in the nasopharynx of a human without causing any harm. However, under certain conditions, this bacteria may enter the bloodstream and reach the central nervous system, which can lead to meningitis. The bacteria may first infect any part of the body, whether that be the skin, the gastrointestinal tract, or even the respiratory tract, and then it may invade the bloodstream and travel to the central nervous system. Once it has reached the central nervous system, it will lead to meningococcal meningitis. The mode of transmission of this disease is that it typically spreads when the uninfected person is in close proximity with the carrier and gets exposed to the respiratory droplets secreted by the infected person, whether that be through actions like coughing, sneezing, or kissing. Meningococcal disease is often fatal and requires immediate medical care. 1 in 5 individuals who survived an episode of bacterial meningitis suffer from long-term complications such as hearing loss, brain damage, neurological problems, limb weakness, difficulties with vision, speech, language, memory, and communication, as well as scarring and limb amputations after sepsis. Now, let's move on to the epidemiology of meningococcal disease. Meningococcal disease remains a serious health problem worldwide, affecting about 500,000 to 1.2 million individuals annually, leading to around 50,000 to 135,000 deaths. The incidence of this disease varies across different countries, but it is found to be highest among infants and sub-African regions. Here are some key aspects of epidemiology of meningococcal disease that I will be talking about in this presentation. So the factors that influence the manifestation of the disease include age, climate conditions, crowded settings, and seasonal variations. Let's first talk about age. When it comes to meningococcal disease, individuals of all ages can be inflicted by the serious and fatal infection, but young children, particularly infants whose maternal antibodies have waned, are more susceptible to acquiring meningococcal disease. This is due to their lack of bactericidal antibodies to prevent the spread of infection, which explains why the incidence rate is very high among infants and young children. Now, let's move on to climate conditions. The bacteria Neisseria meningitidis can easily spread in climate conditions that are hot, dry, windy, and dusty, which is one of the factors that lead to the extremely high rate of incidence of meningococcal disease in the sub-African countries. The sub-African countries, spanning from Senegal to Ethiopia, is commonly referred to as the meningitis belt, characterized by a staggering rate of meningococcal disease cases, approaching 1,000 cases per 100,000 individuals annually. Crowded settings also serve as a good indicator of the epidemiology of this disease. Since the mode of transmission of this disease is through close contact with the infected person, the risks for contracting this disease exponentially increases for people living or remaining in densely packed areas such as mass gatherings or crowded neighborhoods. Take Mecca, Saudi Arabia, for example. This location is classically associated with meningococcal disease, particularly during the annual pilgrimage of Hajj. Also, according to the National Notifiable Diseases Surveillance System, it has been revealed that there are peaks in the incidence of meningococcal disease, particularly among adolescents, and young adults. This trend is linked to a specific time periods when college students reside closely to each other in dormitories and residence halls, and also attributed by their participation in social behaviors that contribute to the transmission of the disease. Another factor that influences the epidemiology of meningococcal disease is seasonal variations. This is because the incidence of meningococcal disease is usually higher in colder temperatures during the winter months. This connection may arise from increased close personal contact, reduced ventilation in enclosed spaces, or a heightened prevalence of upper respiratory infections during the winter months.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nurul Auni binti Sulaiman, and today I will continue to talk about disease change of infection of meningococcal disease. The first one is the agent. The bacterium Neisseria meningitidis is the cause of the meningococcal disease. There are 6 serogroups or types of Neisseria meningitidis, which is E, B, C, W, S, and Y, that cause most disease of the worldwide. 3 of these serogroups, B, C, and Y, cause most of the illness seen in the United States. The person who being a carrier does have the bacteria in their body. About 1 in 10 people have this bacteria in the back of their nose and throat without being ill. However, if the bacteria invade the human body, it will cause certain illness, which is meningococcal disease. The reservoir of this disease is human, and the portal of exit is ear, nose, and throat. The meningococcal bacteria are not spread by casual contact, such as shaking hands, touching doorknobs, or by simply breathing the air where a person with meningococcal disease has been. The bacteria do not survive for long outside of the body. For the mode of transmission of meningococcal disease, it's been transmitted from person to person through the droplets of respiratory or throat secretion from the carriers. Close and prolonged contact, such as kissing, sneezing, or coughing on someone, or living in close quarters with an infected person, facilitate the spread of disease. The portal of entry for the meningococcal disease is also the same with the portal of exit, which is by the ear, nose, and throat. Lastly, change number 6, which is susceptible new hosts. The new hosts that are having a high risk to get meningococcal disease is infants less than 1 year old, adolescents, and young adults from age 16 to 23 years old, adults over 85 years of age have higher rates of disease than the other age groups. Other than that, people with certain medical conditions such as functional or anatomic asplenia, HIV infection, microbiologists who are routinely exposed to isolates of Neisseria meningitidis, people that are identified as being at increased risk because of an outbreak of meningococcal disease, also people who are traveling to a country where the meningococcal disease is an epidemic or highly endemic is another groups that are having a high risk to get the meningococcal disease. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Ibrahim. So next I will talk about suggestion on how to break the infection of the event in the outbreak. So I will go to topic meningococcal disease. So, the first step I will suggest is early diagnosis and prompt treatment set as the first line of the defense. Raising awareness about symptoms like fever, uh, stiff neck, rash, and confusion empowers individuals to seek immediate medical attention. Rapid diagnostic test, expedite confirmation, um, allowing for swift action, effective antibiotic therapy for diagnosed case, and close contact not only treats the affected but also prevent further spread, acting as a vital firewall against the disease outward journeys. So, next is the vaccination. So, it plays a crucial role in dampening the flames of an outbreak. So, identifying high-risk populations such as close contacts, and individuals in crowded settings and prioritizing vaccination with appropriate meningococcal vaccines becomes a key step. Implementing catch-up vaccination next, so that for the specific age groups further bolster community resilience. So, next one is the contact tracing serves as a detective or meticulously uncovering the web of transmission. So, promptly identifying and quarantining all individuals who had a close contact with a confirmed case effectively isolates the infection's source. Chemoprophylaxis, the preventive administration of antibiotics to close contact, acts as the preemptive shield, potentially prevailing illness before it even takes root. Uh, so then, uh, suggestion on how to break of the infection is a public health measures uh, that we can make it to be the architects of a safer environment. So, isolation protocols for confirmed cases in dedicated facilities shield healthcare workers and other patients from the invisible threats. So, strict hand hygiene, respiratory ethic, um, and proper disposal of contaminated materials becomes the SOP of infection controls both in healthcare setting and public spaces. So, this educating the community about the disease, its symptoms, modes of transmission, preventive measure like vaccination and good hygiene, practice empowers individuals to become active participants in containment efforts. Uh, After that, next suggestion is uh, surveillance and monitoring act as vigilant sentinels, keeping a watchful eye on the outbreak. Uh, it enhances active case finding and reporting systems, eliminate the spread patterns, allowing for targeted intervention and resource allocation. So, monitor for changes in circulating meningococcal strains and antibiotic resistance patterns provide essential intelligence for public health authorities guiding the development of refined control strategies. What I can conclude is breaking the chain of meningococcal disease transmission demands a multi-pronged approach. It necessitates a rapid and coordinated response, combining early diagnosis and treatment, targeted vaccination, meticulous contact tracing, robust public health measures, and vigilant surveillance. By swiftly wielding these tools, we can effectively extinguish the flames of an outbreak, safeguarding the health of individuals and fostering a resilient community in the face of this formidable adversary. So I think that's all for me. Thank you.